Ladies, I need you to hear me when I say this. You ever had a man leave and you just sit there thinking, oh, he gonna come back. He just need time. Nah, listen to me. He ain't coming back just because you waiting. But if you do this, I'm telling you right now, he will come back. 100% you ready. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to connect with you directly. Wherever you're watching this from, whether it's your living room, your office, or on the go, I'd love for you to drop a comment below and let me know your location. It's important for me to understand how far this message reaches and who it's impacting. Your participation helps build a community where we can share, learn, and grow together. So go ahead, type your city or country in the comments right now. I'm eager to see how far we can take this conversation. When someone walks away from you, your first instinct might be to go after them, to reach out, to fix whatever went wrong. That's human. It comes from a place of love, confusion, and hope. But chasing a man who left is the fastest way to confirm in his mind that he made the right decision. Because here's the truth. People value what they have to work for. When you chase, you send the message that your time, your presence, your love are easy to access. You're showing him that even after being hurt, dismissed, or overlooked, you're still there, arms wide open, waiting. And while that might sound romantic in a movie, in real life, it often just looks desperate. You have to understand how the male mind works in this kind of dynamic. When he walks away, he expects you to react. Maybe even wants you to. He wants to feel like he still has a hold on you. That even if he steps back, you'll be right there holding on. But when you do the opposite, when you let go completely, when you disappear into your own world and stop giving him that attention, it shifts something. It disrupts the ego. It makes him question everything. Because now the silence is louder than anything you could have said. And silence, that's power. That absence is not just empty space. It's a message. It says, I respect myself enough not to chase someone who walked away from me. It says, I know my worth and I'm not lowering it for anyone. When he doesn't hear from you, when he doesn't see you checking his socials, liking his photos, sending little texts, that's when his mind starts playing tricks on him. He starts wondering where you went, who's got your attention now, why you're not trying to fix things. That wondering turns into curiosity, and curiosity turns into pursuit. See, what people often don't realize is that distance creates value. It creates mystery. And in a world where attention is so easy to give, the person who pulls theirs back becomes rare. And people chase what's rare. You become more powerful in your absence than you ever could be in your desperation. You start living your life, going out, focusing on your goals, surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. You post pictures not to prove anything, but because you're genuinely enjoying yourself. That energy irradiates, and the man who thought you'd still be stuck on him starts to feel that gap you left behind. Now, this isn't about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your energy and refusing to spend it on someone who didn't see your value the first time. It's about understanding that love should never cost you your dignity. That if someone wants to be in your life, they will be. And if they walk away, it's not your job to chase them down and convince them to come back. It's your job to stand still, strong in who you are, and let them feel what life is like without you in it. If you're enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you won't miss upcoming videos. Also, feel free to share this with friends or colleagues who might find it useful. Now, let's get back to it. When something ends unexpectedly or painfully, the immediate emotional response is often to seek clarity, closure, or another chance. For many, that turns into pleading, long texts, late night calls, emotional outbursts, trying to explain your side over and over again, hoping that somehow, if you just say the right thing, the other person will understand and come back. But the more you try to talk your way back into someone's heart, the less they're listening. Not because they're cruel, but because they've already made a decision, and words rarely change a decision that actions didn't. Silence, on the other hand, does what begging can't. It forces a person to sit with the consequences of their actions. It gives space for reflection, and in that space, the noise of your constant reaching out disappears. All that's left is your absence, and absence can be deafening. When you stop talking, stop explaining, stop trying to prove your worth, something powerful happens. You shift the dynamic. You move from being the person trying to be chosen to being the person who chose themselves. People don't process what they lost while you're still there, asking for another chance. As long as you're accessible, they feel secure. They know that at any moment they can reach back and you'll be there. That's not power. That's permission. You're permitting them to take their time, explore other options, weigh their feelings, all while you're on standby. But when you go silent, genuinely silent, not passive-aggressive, not waiting around silently hoping they'll notice, that security vanishes. And that's when they start to feel the difference. Begging is noisy, it's emotional, it's messy, it's filled with pain and sometimes even shame. It creates an imbalance where you're lowering yourself in the hopes of pulling someone back up to you. But the truth is, if you have to drag someone back, they're not walking beside you by choice. They're being pulled by pressure. And relationships built on pressure collapse the moment you stop holding them up. Silence, though. Silence is elegant. It's controlled. It shows restraint. It shows self-respect. It tells the other person, I'm not going to fight for a place you weren't sure I deserved. That energy, that's unforgettable. Because now you're not just reacting emotionally. You're setting a boundary. You're saying, if you really cared, you'd come correct. You'd step up, not just when I cry, but when I go quiet. Most people expect a reaction. They expect the drama, the tears, the breakdowns, because that's the cycle. But when you break that cycle and respond with calm, complete silence, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability commands attention. The same person who ignored your text starts checking if you're still watching their stories. The same one who needed space starts wondering why you gave it so easily. Because silence doesn't say, I don't care. It says, I care about myself more than begging for someone who walked away. And in that silence speaks volumes. It makes them reflect in ways your words never could. It lets them feel the discomfort of distance, the confusion of your calm, the weight of your absence. And most importantly, it gives you the chance to regain your composure, your clarity, and your confidence without trying to prove anything to someone who didn't stay. When someone leaves your life, whether it's through a breakup, ghosting, or fading away, the natural urge is to want to prove something, to show them what they're missing, to get back at them, or even to orchestrate the perfect comeback moment where they realize what they lost. But that mindset, as tempting as it is, still centers your energy around them. You're not healing, you're performing. You're not growing, you're reacting. And when your progress is motivated by proving a point, you're not really free. True growth doesn't happen when you're looking over your shoulder to see if they're watching. It happens when you finally stop caring whether they are or not. A glow up is deeper than just hitting the gym, getting a new haircut, or posting curated selfies. That's surface level. The real glow up happens inside. It's when your mindset shifts, when you no longer define your worth by who stayed or who left, when you stop trying to rewrite the past and start building something new for your future. It's waking up one morning and realizing you're not sad anymore, not angry, not bitter, just focused. And that energy, it radiates in ways no filter or revenge plan ever could. Too often, people get stuck in a cycle of self-improvement driven by spite. They say things like, I'm going to get my life together so he sees what he lost. But the truth is, as long as he's still the motivation, you're still trapped in that relationship. He still has space in your mind, in your decisions, in your journey. And that's not power. It's distraction. Real strength is when you start doing things for you, not for the audience in your head. Not for the imaginary moment where he texts you, I miss you, after seeing a fire photo on your page. No. The glow up becomes real when it's about becoming the person you needed during your lowest moment. Maybe you start going back to school. Maybe you launch that business. Maybe you travel solo, make new friends, get deeper into your faith, set stronger boundaries. That's the kind of growth that can't be faked. That's what brings real fulfillment. Because it's not about showing him you moved on. It's about actually moving on. And when you truly move on, the energy changes. You no longer check your phone hoping for his name. You stop overanalyzing his silence. You realize that the version of you who begged, cried, and broke down doesn't exist anymore. And here's the twist: when your glow up is real, unapologetic, internal, consistent, that's when they usually come back. Not because you tried to make them, but because you didn't. Because nothing messes with someone's ego more than seeing the person they walked away from doing better without them. But by the time that happens, you've changed. You're no longer available at the same emotional price. You're not the same woman waiting by the door. You're not dressing up for their return. You're dressing for yourself. You're not pretending to be okay. You are okay. And that's what makes the glow up so powerful. It's not about revenge. It's about release. It's about creating a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good from the outside. That's when everything starts to shift, not because you're chasing closure, but because you're building confidence from the ground up. There's something undeniably magnetic about a person who is calm, grounded, and moving forward with purpose. When someone walks away from you, whether abruptly or with a drawn-out goodbye, what they don't expect is for you to respond with peace. They expect pain, drama, emotional breakdowns, or a storm of mixed signals. But when you respond with stillness, with peace that doesn't waver, you immediately shift the energy. That peace is not weakness. It's not indifference. It's strength. Because it takes power to stay calm when chaos knocks at your door. It takes control to protect your energy instead of spilling it all over someone who chose to leave. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of self-respect. It's choosing not to engage in arguments, not to send angry paragraphs, not to chase closure that doesn't come. It's looking at the situation and saying, I deserve better, and then moving accordingly. That kind of energy confuses people who thought they had a hold on you. It challenges their assumptions about who you are and how much of your power you were willing to hand over. When you embrace peace, you stop participating in your own pain. You stop reopening wounds just to remind someone you're still bleeding. You begin to heal in silence, and that healing starts to speak for itself. And with peace comes power, not the loud, aggressive kind, not power over someone else, but power over yourself, power over your emotions, your choices, your future. Real power is being able to walk away without a scene. It's knowing that what you bring to the table is valuable, and if someone couldn't recognize that, it's not your job to convince them. Power is rebuilding yourself brick by brick after someone left you in pieces and doing it without bitterness. It's taking responsibility for your part, learning from it, and then releasing the rest. Power is the quiet confidence that says, I may not have been perfect, but I'm growing and I won't stay stuck here. And then slowly but surely progress begins. Not the kind that's forced or staged for social media. The kind that happens when you stop focusing on what they're doing and start focusing on what you need. Progress is deciding to go back to the gym, not to get revenge, but to feel good in your body again. It's enrolling in that course, reconnecting with old dreams, surrounding yourself with people who speak life into you. It's the moment you stop looking at your phone for their name and start looking at your own reflection and finally see someone worth rooting for. Progress isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it's crying in private and still choosing to get up the next day. Sometimes it's setting boundaries that hurt in the short term but protect you in the long run. It's the slow, steady journey back to yourself. And what happens when you have peace, power, and progress flowing through you? You become undeniable. The same person who left begins to notice. They might not say it immediately. They might act like they don't care. But energy doesn't lie. People feel it. They notice when your vibe changes, when you're no longer emotionally available, when your joy is no longer tied to their attention. And in that shift, you become more attractive, not because you were trying to be, but because you've become someone who doesn't need validation. You've become someone who is fulfilled, not waiting. Peace, power, and progress create a glow that no one can ignore. When a man leaves, it doesn't take long for regret to set in. The moment the door closes behind him or the phone goes silent, a part of him often realizes what he's given up. Maybe it's the comfort, the familiarity, the love that was there and taken for granted. Regret is usually quick because the emotional hole left behind is immediate and sharp. It's that sudden void where he expected something better or just a break from the complications. But what he finds instead is loneliness or the absence of the person who truly cared for him. This fast regret, however, doesn't always translate into a quick return. And here lies the tricky part. Regret is an emotion. Coming back is a decision, and decisions take time. When a man regrets losing you, that feeling is often tangled with confusion, pride, fear, and sometimes stubbornness. He might be hurt, embarrassed, or unsure if he's truly ready to face what he left behind. The regret may fuel longing, but it doesn't always erase the reasons he left in the first place. So, while regret hits him fast, the path to actually coming back is a slow process. He needs time to process those emotions, weigh his options, and figure out if he's willing to do the work it takes to rebuild what was broken. During this slow return, he watches from a distance. He notices how you're doing without him, whether you're hurting, thriving, or indifferent. He listens to what others say. He might even test the waters with subtle messages or check-ins, trying to gauge if there's still a place for him. But this phase isn't about quick fixes or grand gestures. It's about cautious moves, sometimes hesitations, sometimes going silent again as he wrestles with his pride and fears. He wants to be sure he's not stepping back into the same situation that made him leave. For you, this means patience and strength are crucial. Understand that if he truly feels regret, it will show in how he respects your boundaries during this time. The slow return is a test, not just of his intentions, but of your worth and your ability to hold your ground. If he senses you're desperate or available at all costs, the slow return might never become a full comeback. But if you remain steady, focused on your life and your happiness, it signals that you're not waiting around to be picked up or discarded again. That kind of energy challenges him to be better or to walk away for good. It's also important to realize that not every regret leads to a return. Sometimes a man regrets, but decides he's better off moving on. His slow return doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it's just about closure or trying to ease guilt. But the ones who come back, those who are willing to show up after the regret has settled, are the ones who have done the internal work. They've wrestled with their mistakes, learned from them, and are ready to approach the relationship differently. And that readiness can't be rushed. Regret hits like a lightning bolt, sudden and shocking. But real change, real willingness to come back, that's like a slow, burning fire that needs kindling, oxygen, and time to grow. It's messy, uncertain, and sometimes frustrating for the one left behind. But it's also a sign that what was lost is being reconsidered, that the memories and feelings weren't forgotten. And while waiting for that return, the best thing you can do is focus on your own growth, your own healing, and your own peace. Because when he does come back, he'll find you different. Not waiting, not broken, but whole. It's a reality that many avoid facing, but it's true. By the time a man who left comes back, you might not want him anymore. When someone walks out, it leaves a space that forces you to reassess everything, not just about the relationship, but about yourself. At first, the absence feels raw and painful. You replay moments in your head, wondering if things could have been different, if you missed signs, or if you could have done more to keep him. That's natural. But over time, something shifts inside you. You start focusing less on the person who left and more on the person you're becoming. As days, weeks, or months go by, you grow. You learn your worth isn't tied to someone's presence or approval. You reclaim your happiness and peace. You discover new interests, strengthen your self-love, and build boundaries you never thought you'd set. The space he left isn't empty anymore. It's filled with your own strength and progress. And as you grow into this new version of yourself, the idea of him coming back becomes less about needing closure and more about recognizing whether he fits into your life at all. When he does come back, and remember, not every man who leaves returns. He's not coming to the woman you were when he left. He's coming back to someone who has changed, someone who is less available, less forgiving of past mistakes, and more aware of her value. That return visit can be jarring. The man who walked away may think everything will pick up where it left off, but the truth is the dynamic has shifted. You've changed the rules by changing yourself. And sometimes the reality is that what once felt like love feels different now, maybe even like a lesson learned. By the time he returns, you might realize that the hurt he caused isn't something you're willing to accept again. The trust may be broken beyond repair, or the emotional energy needed to rebuild the relationship may not be worth the cost. You might find yourself wondering, why would I open the door to someone who closed it so easily? The idea of reconciliation may no longer excite you, it may even scare you, because in growing, you've seen your own power, and you understand that you deserve consistency, respect, and unconditional commitment, not a second chance at heartbreak. The shift in perspective is a form of liberation. It means you're no longer tied to a narrative of waiting or hoping. You're living in the reality of what you deserve and what you will accept. And sometimes that means saying no to someone who once said yes, but then walked away. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to protect your peace and prioritize your future happiness. It means you're ready to move forward whether or not he's a part of that journey. So, if you're in the place where he left and you're wondering if he'll come back, remember this: your glow up, your peace, and your power matter more than any comeback story. If he returns, make sure it's because he respects the new you, not because you fell back into old patterns. And if you realize you don't want him anymore, that's okay too. That's growth. That's strength. If you found this message powerful, don't keep it to yourself. Comment your thoughts or experiences below and share this speech with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more real talk and motivation coming your way.